Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please check it. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Is my voice is clear to all of you guys? Please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Yeah. All right. Good morning, guys. And check it what we completed in the last session. So if we observe the content here, so in the last session we completed differences between web applications and distributed applications. Then after that, what exactly the differences between like a static response and a dynamic response, this content here we understand clearly. Right, sir. Now let's see this. What we understand actually in web applications, there are two types of responses. What are the two types of responses in web applications there? One is static response and the second one is what there? Dynamic response. Here immediately we are getting a question. What is the difference between static response and dynamic response? Static response is a response from server machine. It will be generated without executing any resource at server machine, and it will be generated from server without performing any action at the server side application. Without executing any resource at server machine or without performing any action at server side application, if any response is generated, that response is called as what there? Static response. Static response is a response which must be common to the every user of that server side application. Common to every user of that server side application. Example, every user will get a login form when we use www.gmail.com. So for every user, no changes in the response curve, same response here we are getting. So this is exactly called as like what their static response. Some example here I've given that, then every client is submitting request for what their login form.html. Here server is not executing anything at server machine, just it will get copy of the login form.html. That copy will be given back to like what their all the clients, client 1, client 2, and so on and so on and so on, like what their client n. Observe carefully. Dynamic response is the response from server machine. It will be generated by executing a particular resource at a server machine or by performing an action at server machine. Now here we are given some diagram. All right, sir. This is my what their server side application, web application. You can think of it. Okay. Inside this web application, there is a servlet. What is a servlet actually? Add servlet is available. Its name is, that means locator name, or maybe URL pattern is what their add is a some logical name here we have taken. All right, now all these are like what their clients. Client 1 is a submitting request to the server for the add, but where the input data is what their FL and SL, both the values we provided there. Now the server is executing add servlet. By the execution of this add servlet, automatically here it is performing, might be to execute this add servlet, a thread will be created. The thread is executing this add servlet code. By the execution of this add servlet code, by the execution of this particular servlet, internally some calculation will be performed, addition operation will be performed. The 10, 100 and 200 will be added. Then finally 300 is the result. The 300 result we are getting to like what there? To the computer. Understand it clearly. So next one, client 2 is submitting request with the FL and SL 200 and 300 now. Now here what happened there? No, now add servlet, that server will execute that add servlet by taking the input data is what there 200 and 300. Add servlet is performing the addition operation, then it is providing some response to like what there to the respective client here. That is like what there 500 is a response now. Similarly, third client here. Understand my point here. Similarly, what there third client here. So now here we can understand every client is sending request to the same add servlet, but depending on the input to data, this add servlet is performing some operation and it is providing some response back to the respective client. Now tell me here, response is generated by executing a particular resource at server machine or not? Of course, we have taken this like what their servlet. By executing a particular resource at server machine, some response will be generated to the respective client. So this response is called as what their dynamic response. This response is treated as what their dynamic response. Observe carefully. Right, sir. Now this dynamic response is generated by executing a servlet or maybe by executing a particular resource at server machine. And this dynamic response is generated by performing an action at server machine. All right, sir. Now this is exactly called as like what their dynamic response to the respective client. Of course, might be multiple users are accessing the servlet at a time. Nothing else. For every user request, a separate thread will be created at server. That thread is executing that resource. That thread is responsible to provide what the some response. That response will be taken care by this server. It able to submit that response back to like what their respective client can. Just put focus on only dynamic response. Don't think about it, how multiple requests are processed, how multiple threads are going to be executed concurrently. That everything I will discuss with you later on. As of now, your knowledge may not be sufficient up to that level, but here only the point is what there. When we submit request to the server with some input data, now server is taking that request, server is identifying a particular resource, the server is executing that server side resource. By the execution of the server side resource only, some response will be generated. That response will be given back to the respective client. Here that response is called as what their dynamic response. Guys, please recognize this, what I am telling to you clearly. All right, sir. Now, I want to give one conclusion here after completion of this. Now try to understand this conclusion, all of you. Here we are getting like what their dynamic response here we are getting. Am I right or not? Okay, fine. All of you understand this point clearly. How this dynamic response is generated here? How dynamic response is generated here? Now guys, now tell me how dynamic response is generated here by the execution of this server side program or not? Yeah, it may be servlet or it may be JSP, just leave it, no problem. By executing this server side program, some response is generated or not? Understand my point, Kiano? So now namesake I have taken it is what there is servlet. A servlet. So servlets are able to generate some dynamic response or not? Okay, the servlets are written in what there? The servlets are written in what there? Web applications. Am I right or not? So to prepare web applications, we are using servlets or not? Now, the concept here I'm telling to you, the conclusion here I'm telling to you. All right, sir. Now the conclusion here, what I'm telling to you, from the above, representation, we can understand it. The main purpose of servlets and JSPs, the main purpose of servlets and JSPs is to prepare web applications in order to generate dynamic response. The main purpose of servlets and JSPs is what there? The main purpose of servlets and JSPs is to prepare web applications in order to generate what response, guys? Now tell me, dynamic response. For the sake of generating static response, servlets and JSPs are not required. Just simply we can go for HTML pages now. If you want to generate static response, they're not required to go for what their servlets and JSPs there. Better to go for like what their HTML pages. That's sufficient. But our requirement is what there? We want to generate some dynamic response from the server machine. If we want to generate some dynamic response from the server machine, we need one application at server machine. That application is what their web application. Inside this web application, we may prepare so many components. Some components may generate static response, some other components may generate what their dynamic response. So which components are generating dynamic response there we can understand clearly what their servlets and JSPs clearly. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Okay, fine. Now, okay, before this, I want to give one more point here and try to understand this clearly. One more point here itself, I want to specify to you, now try to understand it. All right, sir. Now, here I'm telling to you from the above representation, From the above representation, all right, sir, from the above representation, to generate dynamic response, we have to use an application at server machine, that is web application. In web application, we have to use some resources. We have to use what there, some resources. In web applications, we have to use some resources. They are web resources. They are web resources like what are these web resources? No, CGI. Then what next one here? No, servlets. And what next one here? JSP as of now. That's my point here now. From the above representation, to generate dynamic response, we have to use an application at server machine, that is what their web application. In web application, we have to use some resources such as CGI, servlets, and what next one, JSP. Then immediately I'm giving one conclusion. This is conclusion. What is the conclusion I'm telling there? From the above representation, the main purpose of servlets and JSP is to prepare web applications in order to generate what their dynamic response. This conclusion here we have to understand. Anyway, now our context is what there, servlets and JSP care. That's what directly I'm giving conclusion in the form of like what there, servlets and JSP now. Finally, guys, now tell me, finally, what exactly the purpose of servlets and JSP care now? Now tell me here, what is the requirement to go for servlets and JSP care? This is a question. Now tell me, the purpose of servlets and JSP is what there? To generate, to prepare web applications in order to generate dynamic response. Of course, web applications are having some resources, HTML resources, which may provide static response. But the point is what there, web applications, in that web applications, we need to use what there, servlets and JSPs, they must generate what there, dynamic response. This is the main purpose of like what there, servlets and JSPs clearly. Yes, sir, all of you getting my point or not? That's okay, fine. Leave this one here. Then after that, after completion of this particular point now, immediately we have a question. I have a question now. Now tell me guys, what technologies here we listed there about this, like a dynamic response and about to prepare these web applications? What technologies are listed here now? CGI, servlets, and JSP. We listed or not? Right, sir. Now let's observe carefully. Now the point is what there, to prepare web applications. To prepare web applications in order to generate dynamic response, we have already CGI. Then what is the requirement to use servlets? Then what is the requirement to use what are the servlets? This is the question here we are able to get. So we have to understand this point clearly. This is one of the interview question, guys. Maybe interviewers may ask this type of question there in web applications. To prepare web applications in order to generate dynamic response, we have already CGI. Then what is the requirement to use servlets? This is the clear-cut question here we have to answer. Right, now try to answer for it, try to understand this particular one. Right, sir. Now I want to give some clarity. Now try to understand it now. CGI is a server-side technology. CGI is a server-side technology, common gateway interface, not any other abbreviation, same abbreviation. Right, sir. CGI is a server-side technology. All right, sir. It can be used to prepare web applications. It can be used to prepare web applications. Okay, up to that it's normal information only. Next point is important. Observe carefully. It is a process-based technology. It is what there? Process-based technology. It is a what there? It is what there? Process-based technology. Then what is the meaning of it? No, it's a process-based technology that we understood. But what is the meaning of it clearly? Right, sir. Its meaning is what there? If we send any request if we send any request for CGI component in web applications, if we send any request, or if we send a request for CGI component in web application, if we send a request to CGI component in web applications, then CGI container, or simply speaking server, instead of saying that CGI container, in your understand, no, server will create a separate process. Server will create what there? A separate process. Answer my point here. Server will create what there? A separate process. This is for what there? For each and every request. A separate process will be created for what there? For each and every request. Observe carefully. Then, sir, now, instead of saying this, what I'm telling there, I want to modify this statement here so that we are able to understand more clearly. If we prepare web applications by using CGI, then server will create. Can I use that container? The word container, can I use that? You know, already server is okay, but inside the server, who is responsible to execute components? No, container. So container is responsible. Web containers, or maybe like what there, distributed containers. So different things are available here. So now I can use the terminology like what there, container, no problem. Container and server at this level both are same. Think of it, but container is a more appropriate word here. Why? Because servers are not going to execute the server side components. Inside the server, containers are going to execute what their server side components now. So container will create a separate process for each and every request. For each and every request coming from clients. Come on guys, observe carefully. CGI is a server side technology. It can be used to prepare web applications. It's a process based technology. If you prepare web applications by using CGI technology, then container will create a separate process for each and every request coming from clients. Got my point or not? Okay. Now we know already, basically process is a heavyweight. Process is what there? Heavyweight. Am I right or not? Process is what there? Heavyweight. So CGI is a heavyweight technology. Heavyweight technology. If it is a heavyweight technology, then what is the problem there? Heavyweight technology, then what is the problem there? It will take more memory and more execution time to perform or to execute. It will take more memory and more execution time to process any request. To process any request means that it will take more response time. Whenever it is taking more response time, automatically what it will do there, it will reduce server side applications performance. Is all of you following it or not? What I'm telling you, basically process heavyweight. So CJ is a heavyweight technology. It will take more memory and more execution time to process any request. It will take more response time. It will reduce server side applications performance. It will reduce what there? Server side applications performance. Observe carefully. Got it or not? Whenever it is reducing server side applications performance, nobody will check that particular technology. Nobody will use that particular technology. Sir, got my point or not? All right, so now I want to show some diagrammatic representation for it. Now try to understand it clearly. Everybody understand these points, no? See, that fundamental concepts are very important. Try to understand the concepts what I'm telling to you. All right, now this is like what I'm telling to you. Server side application. This is like server side application. Simply speaking, web application only, not any other one. Now inside this web application, we are able to have like what there? A CGI component. This is like what there? CGI component. You can understand CGI. In which way we are having servlets? In the same way, some CGI component. Now, here we are having server. This is like what I'm telling to you, server. Observe carefully. This is server. Here multiple clients are existed now, and so on. So many clients are existed. Client 1, and this is like what there, client 2, and so on and so on. Client n, number of clients are existed. Client n. Now observe carefully. All these clients are sending requests to the CJ component only. Server or container, that doesn't matter as of now. Later on I'll give difference between these two also. Now client 1 is submitting request to what there, to the server for the sake of what there, CGI component. Okay, then immediately what this server will do there, immediately server will create a process. Server will create what there, a process. All of you observe carefully. A process will be created. This is for what there, P1 process. Now that P1 process is taking the responsibility of executing the total program. P1 process is responsibility of taking execution of like what there, so CGA component can. Now this is not a thread. Please recognize this. This is what there, a process can. Next one, client 2 is submitting request at the same time or maybe after processing the first request. This is request 2. This is like what I'm telling, the request 1, and this is like what the request 2. All right. Now with respect to this request 2, automatically another process will be created, P2 process. P2 process will be created. Now this P2 process is going to execute the required CGA component. Now it will be executed. Don't think about these lines or threads now. Just think of it processes. Okay, and so on and so on and so on. So many requests are coming in. Finally, last request is submitted from client N. Maybe at the same time or maybe one after another. That doesn't matter now. Now this is like what I'm telling there, request N. With respect to this request N, what happened there now? At server side, server will create, container will create so many processes. Container will create what there? So many processes. Like what there? Pn, process N, it is created. Now process N is coming to the application. Now CGA component will be executed by the same application. Of course, all these requests are coming to the same single CGA component or multiple CGA components, that doesn't matter. All these requests are coming to the single CGA component or multiple CGA components, that doesn't matter. Observe carefully. But finally, for every request, a separate process has to be created. So multiple processes have to be executed at server side. The process is basically a heavyweight component. Then it may take more memory and more execution time. When it takes more memory and more execution time, automatically response time for the client will be increased. Means that performance of the server side application will be reduced. So once it is reducing performance of the server side application, nobody is thinking about like what there. Nobody will use this particular technology in our web application development. Understand guys what I'm telling you? So this is exactly the meaning of like what there, CGI. That means CGI and its a drawback here we can understand. Right, so now let me check this. Right, sir. Basically this is what their process based technology. That is another point here. One more point I'm telling to you, try to understand it. CGI is more error prone technology. Understand the word, more error prone technology. What is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of it? More number of chances are available to get errors, even in a small piece of code. Guys, observe carefully what we are able to get there. CGI is a more error prone technology. More chances are available to get errors even in a small piece of code. The code is very less, but more number of errors will come. That syntax is, the technology is defined in this way. So that's why it is like what there, more error prone technology. Sir, all of you get my point or not? All right, sir, that's okay, fine. Next one is after that, then one more point here I forgot to specify actually. CJ is a server-side technology. It can be used to prepare web applications. Right, sir. And then one more point I'm telling there. It was designed. It was designed on the basis of C and some other scripting languages. Some other what the scripting languages. Yeah, this point I forgot to give that. Then what is this? No, it was designed on the basis of what programming language there? C and some other scripting languages. Tell me, C is process based or thread based? Majorly process based. Of course, threads also we can create, but it's very less. But majorly what they know, process based. As per that we are getting, it's a process based technology. Then remaining concept is as it is. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Right now, tell me, by understanding this diagram, for every request, a separate process is created or not? Handling process will take a lot of time. Handling process is what there? Lot of time. So, what is alternative for it now? What is the alternative for it now? Handling process will take a lot of time. That's okay. That we understood that. Then what is the alternative? Process is heavyweight. Then what is the alternative for process now? Come on. In general, what is the alternative for process now? Thread-based technology. Thread is an alternative for what there? Process can. Guys, understand it now. Here, how multi-threading is coming into the picture. How threads concept is coming into the picture. Observe carefully. If you don't know multi-threading, you are unable to understand anything internal in the future. Of course, we are not going to use multi-threading explicitly. In server-side applications, we are not going to create threads explicitly. But internally, servers are designed. The server-side application execution is designed totally on the basis of multi-threading. If you don't know multi-threading, nothing is going to be understandable to you. Once you are not understanding clearly internals, no, it is not possible to design the applications effectively. Basic applications only we are able to prepare, but complex applications and performance point of view, if you want to do some activity with our application, no, not possible for you if you don't know anything about multi-threading. So here multi-threading intention is coming there. Now try to understand it clearly. All right, sir. Now as per this, we need to go for what are there? Some alternative technology. We need to go for server. That means we need to go for thread-based server-side technology. We need to go for what there? Thread-based server-side technology. Now, what is thread-based server-side technology? What is this thread-based server-side technology? Now that is what their servlets. That is what their servlets. Now observe carefully. Servlets is a server-side technology. Servlet is a server-side technology to prepare web applications. To prepare web applications. Here also we specify the same point. CGI is a server-side technology. It can be used to prepare web applications. Okay, fine. To prepare web applications. Okay. Next one is it was designed on the top of. It was designed on the top of Java. It was designed on the top of what there? Java. Especially J2SE, core Java. The servlets is designed on the top of what there? Core Java. All right, sir. Where Java is a thread-based programming language. Am I right or not? Java is what there? Thread-based programming language. Moreover, multi-threaded programming language. Moreover, multi-threaded programming languages. Multi-threaded programming language. All right, sir. What is the meaning of it now? Moreover, multi-threaded programming language. What's the meaning of it now? The point is very clear. Moreover, multi-threaded programming language. So servlets is a thread-based server-side technology. Server-side technology. Now, please remember this. I'm using the term here. Java is a thread-based programming language. I'm telling there. But when I come for servlets now, I'm telling it is what there? A technology. Core Java is a programming language, but servlet is what there? A technology. Don't say servlet is a programming language. Don't say core Java is a technology. No. What's the difference? You know, very startup one, new definitions, new syntaxes, and new conventions. That is nothing but what there? A programming language. On the top of this startup one, if you prepare some libraries for a particular type of applications, on the top of this startup one, on the top of this programming language, if you prepare some libraries in order to prepare a particular type of application, then it is called as what there a technology. JDBC is a full of libraries designed on the top of core Java to prepare database related applications. Servlets is a full of libraries designed on the top of what their core Java to design what their web applications. So here JDBC is a technology, servlets is a technology, but core Java is what there is a programming language. Understand the difference also clear? No, servlet is what there a server side technology. Now come for this punch here. Servlet is a server side technology to prepare web applications. It was designed on the top of Java, where Java is a thread-based programming language, moreover multi-threaded programming multi-threaded language. So servlet is also a thread-based server-side technology. Then what is the advantage of it? No, if we design web applications by using servlets, if we design web applications by using servlets, then container in the sense what there server. Of course, inside the server, container is going to execute our servlets. No, container will create a separate thread for each and every request coming from client. Guys, observe carefully what I'm telling you. Know, if we design web applications by using servlets, then container will create a separate thread instead of a process. For each and every request coming from client. Right. Now, what is the point here? What is the comparison? No, where thread is a lightweight. Where thread is what there? Now tell me, lightweight technology. Thread is a lightweight component. Come on. What is the next point here? No, thread is a lightweight component. So servlet is a lightweight server-side technology. Then what next one here? It will take less memory, and what next one? No, less execution time to process requests. So it will reduce what it will reduce then? Now tell me, it will reduce overall response time. When it reduces overall response time, then what it will happen then? No, it will increase web applications performance. It will increase what their web applications performance. There's an advantage of like what there this particular servlet technology. Guys, observe carefully. Servlet is a server-side technology to prepare web applications. It was designed on the top of Java, where Java is a thread-based programming language, moreover multi-threaded language. So servlets is also a thread-based server-side technology. If we design web applications by using servlets, then container will create a separate thread instead of a process. Here I'm giving the point here. In the case of CGA, what happened there? No, process is created. But in the case of servlets, what is created here? No, thread is created. You know already in the comparison between process and thread in core Java. Which one is a heavyweight and which one is lightweight? No, process is heavyweight, whereas thread is what there? Lightweight here. Observe carefully. All right, sir. Instead of process for each and every request coming from client, where thread is lightweight component. So servlet is also a lightweight server-side technology. Servlet is a lightweight server-side technology. It will take less memory and less execution time to process requests. It will reduce overall response time and it will increase web applications performance. Now tell me guys, all of you know, so which technology is going to have very good demand in outside now? Is it CGI or servlets? Servlet, definitely servlets are having like what there? Very good demand in outside. Now let me check in the diagram here. I want to prepare a separate diagram for it. Now try to observe carefully. All right, now here we need to understand like what there. This is like what there a server side program, of course. This is web application. Inside this web application, I'm going to prepare a servlet. Now this is a servlet component, web component. Web component, this is what there is servlet. Okay, fine. Next one, here definitely we need to have what there, one server. Server or container, wherever it may be. Server is available inside the server, container is existed now. Right. Now here we have to understand like what there, these are the clients. So many clients are existed. And so on and so on and so on. So many clients are existed now. Client 1, next one is like what there, client 2 and so on. Client N, so many clients are available. As per the theory, what I said to you, as per the concepts, what I'm telling to you, if we submit request 1 to the server for this particular servlet, now what this container will do there, I try to understand it now. First of all, for every servlet, an object will be created. For every servlet, an object will be created. Am I right or not? Object will be created for every servlet. Okay, for the first request only, object will be created here. That's okay. This is a servlet object. Servlet is designed on the top of the Java. Am I right or not? Java is an object-oriented programming language or not? So for the servlet, object must be created or not? But I cannot say this point for what their CGI. CGI is designed on the top of what their C programming language. Do you think about it? CGI is an object-oriented programming language? No. If it is not object-oriented programming language, how object will be created for CGI? No. Is it possible to create any object for CGI component there? Think of it. If it is not object oriented here, but servlet is an object oriented. Why? Because it is designed totally on the base of what the core Java. So it's an object oriented here. That's why this is what the, that's why for every servlet a separate object will be created. That's why it is called as what the servlet object. Then for this request 1, for this first request 1, container or server will create one separate thread to execute our servlet program. Now this is like what I'm telling you now, a thread. This is like what the T1. All right, sir. Now client 2 is submitting request to like what there to the same servlet. First of all, that request will come to what there, to the server or container. To the server or container. Observe carefully. Request 2 is coming there. Now again here, now the server or container will identify the servlet now, then it will identify the servlet object there. On the top of the servlet object, now here servlet, the server or container will create another thread to execute our servlet component. Now this is like what the T2 thread. T2 thread. Now and so on and so on and so on. So many clients are available here for every request. For every request coming from the client now, automatically a separate thread will be created over the servlet object. Now this is like what I'm telling to you, request N. When request N is coming there, automatically the servlet will be identified over the top of the servlet object. Another, like so many threads are created here. Now here what happened then, so many threads are created and so on and so on and so on. Now all threads are going to be executed concurrently on the same servlet. Now here we can take like what the, this is like what the thread N. Thread N, number of requests are coming. That's it. Now tell me here, if we observe this total scenario, process is a heavyweight, whereas thread is what there, lightweight. CGI is a heavyweight, servlet is what there, lightweight. CGI will take more execution time to process any request, but servlet will take like what there, less execution time to process any particular request. That's enough. This is what exactly the difference between CGI and a servlet. Guys, all of you are following or not? All of you are following or not? All right, sir. Then, so I'm observing clearly overall two members. Even I'm discussing the content, very much important content. By taking some interest, I'm discussing there. But in the entire class, only two members, not all members now, are sleeping continuously right from starting point of the class now. One is from girl side, another one is from boy side. Huh? Pavana? Pawan is very much active. Huh? All right, sir. Now, please don't sleep. The important topics I'm telling you. See, the point is what there. If you are not understanding this much of content here, see what technology we understand there by seeing these examples now. Servlet. Actually, our requirement is servlet, not CGI. Servlet. Okay, servlet is a thread based. For every request, a thread is creating. At least some idea we are getting there on the servlet's execution. Noun points all I'm telling there. The thread is noun point here. Then thread execution is going on there. Thread is lightweight when compared with the process now. So the connection is available. Then advanced Java concept is connected with what their core Java. This is a proof for it. Entire servlets are designed on the top of what their core Java. So such important points I'm taking now. But now we are sleeping in the sense. What is the meaning of it now? I think you are giving more priority for your sleeping. Sir, got it or not? Say then, I'm telling to you, then if you are getting sleeping without taking any of my permission, go outside and wash your face and come back. I don't have any problem there. Or go might be first floor or maybe like a tea stall, then take tea and come back. No, I don't mind for it. But the point is what there, we have to say that reason I'm sleeping, sir. I'll take that permission now. Huh? Right. What, sir? Fine. Come to the concentration here. So finally, the differences between CGI and the servlets. These two concepts here we completed clearly. All right, sir. Right, sir. Then there is a question now clearly. What is the question here? Single servlet object is available. Multiple requests are coming there. Multiple threads are coming to the single servlet object. So is there any performance lag while executing multiple threads? That is a question, guys. Yes, all of you are getting it now. That is a question now. Right. Point I'm telling to you, that will be taken care by server software. As a developer, we should not think much about it. That will be taken care by what their server software. Inside the server software, so many administrative tasks are available. So many administrative activities are available. Through all the administrative activities, now we are able to reduce that load. Answer my point clearly. So if I want to talk about this particular point here, if I identify more and more number of requests are coming to a single servlet component, no, in so many ways we are able to reduce that burden. One of the approaches what their servers are using internally thread pooling, in which way we are having connection pooling. There we are having what their thread pooling. That is point number one. Still traffic is more. Still more and more number of requests are coming. Huge requests are coming there. Huge crowd is coming there. Then immediately I may think about what is their load balancing concept. That is a part of the server administration. Nowadays maybe DevOps team will take care about it. Previously server administrator stream, operations team will take care about it, or server administrator stream will take care about it. No, but nowadays DevOps team will take care about it. How to share that entire traffic to multiple instances of our server. So where that load balancing topic will come this. Like this, so many alternatives are available. Guys, all of you get my point or not? So no need to think much about it. No, that will be taken care by server software. In the case if server software is unable to bear that much of traffic there, that many number of requests, no, there we will think about what there some alternatives there. That's one of the best approaches. What there load balancing. What is this load balancing? How we are going to do that load balancing? No, right? That we are going to understand clearly. Right, sir. First point, server will take care about it, and secondary is what there still server is unable to handle that. Then we will go for what there a mechanism to balance the total load for a single component. That's nothing but what there load balancing now. Think of it. Not required to think much about as a developer. As a developer, we are not going to think about it. In how much effective way we are going to prepare server side application is the responsibility from developer. How that servers, how servers are running, how servers are providing threads now, how servers are giving some runtime environment, that everything could be taken care by what the DevOps team or maybe administrative team now. They will take care about it, but definitely some solutions are available. Okay, leave this particular point now. Right, guys. Now this is about like what the servlet. Like next one is now tell me when compared with the CGI, we have some advantages with the servlets. That's why we are moving for what the servlets topic on it. That's very nice. Okay, fine. Now tell me, guys. All of you now tell me. Now tell me. Next one is what there servlets and JSPs are available. Immediately, I'm getting one more question. Immediately, I'm getting one more question. What is that question here? Now observe carefully. My question is what there to prepare web applications we have already servlets, then what is the requirement? Then what is the requirement to use JSPs? This is one question. Guys, observe carefully. To prepare web applications, already we have servlets. Then what is the requirement to use JSPs? But nowadays might be some students are asking like another question there. That means some interviewers are asking, not students, some interviewers are asking the same question like what there. What are the differences between, tell me the differences between servlets and JSPs strictly. These questions are asking there now. Even my intention is also be what there. Before going to learn servlets and JSPs, no, first at least we have to understand what is servlet and what is JSP, where to use servlets and where to use JSPs. This kind of points here we have to understand. This kind of analysis here we have to understand. Then comfortably we are going to understand the servlets and JSPs. Without knowing their utilization, learning the total servlets and JSPs is a waste of time. First we have to understand where to use servlets and where to use JSPs. What is the intention of servlet and what is the intention of JSPs now? So these points here we have to understand clearly. Right guys, now let's observe carefully all the points here. We are going to understand this content clearly, but before that I want to give one small example, some small story here I want to tell to you. Now try to understand this story. By that we are able to get some clarity. Right guys, observe carefully, all of you know. Simple point here I'm telling you. Now try to understand it clearly. Initially Java and .NET, two programming languages are available, or two technologies, whatever it may be. They're available in outside. Yes guys, all of you get my point or not? Then before that I'm telling one more point. The technology giants are two in outside previously at starting point. What are the two technology giants in general? One is Microsoft community, another one is non-Microsoft community. Do you know that? But nowadays might be the cold war is going on in between Oracle and Microsoft. But previously that entire industry, that entire software technologies, or maybe the communities are divided into two. One is what their Microsoft community, another one is what their non-Microsoft community. Non-Microsoft community includes like what their Sun Microsystems, Oracle Corporation, Red Hat systems, like all these many like what their technology vendors are available in non-Microsoft community. Microsoft community has only Microsoft. They're monopoly, right? Microsoft in the sense only Microsoft. They're not entertaining any other. But other group of organizations are available at what their non-Microsoft community, like IBM, Oracle, like Sun Microsystems and all, like different companies there. So between these two communities might be some kind of cold war is going on at initially. What happened there now? Microsoft has a database, SQL server. Then immediately at non-Microsoft community, Oracle, MySQL, Oracle, MySQL, like this. So many database softwares are available. Mainframes, DB2, like this. So many. Next one. After this, operating systems point of view, Windows operating system is provided by Microsoft community. Then equally, other operating systems are provided by non-Microsoft community. Like what there, Linux is available, Sun Solaris is available. Like very good operating system here. There also is some kind of war. Sir, all of you get my point or not? Similarly, in the point of this programming languages, .NET was provided by Microsoft. .NET is a technology come programming language. C#.NET is what their programming language, but ASP.NET and all these things are like what their technologies. So .NET is available there. From non-Microsoft community, Sun Microsystems has provided what their Java. Then both are going on at parallelly. Initially, both are having very good weightage now. Both are at the straight lines. Answer my point. So at Microsoft, C#.NET is available, and at Java side, just only core Java and servlets technology. Some part of the servlets technology is available at Java side. Then what happened there? At a particular point of time, observe carefully. At a .NET site, people are preparing applications, but to prepare web applications, .NET developers are facing very good problems. That means more problems. They are thinking they need more technology stuff to prepare web applications with the by using that existed .NET technology. With existed .NET technology to prepare web applications, they need more stuff, more technology knowledge. Then only they are able to prepare it. So they feel very hard to prepare web applications with the available .NET technology. Understand it what I'm telling you? The same thing is going on over the Java developers. With the available server technology and Java, core Java, they feel very hard to prepare web applications. The same situation is going on at both the sides now. Now, in this particular context, Microsoft understood their employees' problem. Microsoft understood their .NET developers' issue. Microsoft understood that all .NET developers are facing some difficulty while preparing web applications with the available .NET. So we have to simplify that. We have to provide some comfortable environment for the .NET developers to prepare web applications. By having such type of thinking, Microsoft has prepared some other library. That library can be used to prepare web applications in very simplified way, even without having any technical knowledge, without having any technical stuff. As part of that, Microsoft has provided a separate library, a separate technology over the C#.NET. Now that technology is what their ASP.NET, active server pages, ASP.NET. Observe carefully. The moment when ASP.NET was released to the market, if you know the abbreviation for ASP.NET, then people are getting jobs in software companies now. By the time, that much of demand was there for ASP.NET when it was introduced. By the time of introducing ASP.NET, even all Java developers are also be diverted to work with what their ASP.NET for the sake of simplicity. Especially in the US market, that ASP.NET, the time when ASP.NET was introduced there, that US market is mad with them, taking more and more number of people. Understand, guys, what I'm telling them? Then this total technology change at Microsoft was observed by non-Microsoft community people also. There also be the same problem is going on for Java developers. By the time when ASP.NET was introduced there, majority of the Java developers are diverted to go for what there, that ASP.NET, as they've seen simplicity with ASP.NET. Then non-Microsoft community has taken the steps now. Then immediately the Sun Microsystems wants to preserve at least their customers now. So because of that reason, Sun Microsystems has provided the similar kind of tool to provide simplicity for designing web applications over the top of the available technologies. Top of the available technology. Here, what are the available technologies now? Core Java and a part of the servlets. Then Sun Microsystems has provided some other tool or some other library, some other technology which simplifies web application development on the top of the servlets and core Java. Like this, the Sun Microsystems is also be providing a simplified technology to simplify the web application development. The name of the technology which was provided by Sun Microsystems is JSP. Where at Microsoft, what is that? No, ASP. Now at the non-Microsoft community, what is this? No, JSP. Their active server pages. Now here it is what there? Java server pages. Everybody understand my point clearly? This is exactly like what there? Java server pages. Yes, guys, all of you are getting my point or not? Java server pages. Okay, fine. The moment when JSP was introduced to the market, we were the persons which are diverted to work with ASP previously. Automatically, not only that, even ASP developers also be trying to work with what their JSP technology. Why? Because JSP is providing very much simplification to design our web applications. Sun Microsystems official announced that to prepare web applications by using JSP, even you don't require even Java knowledge. You don't need Java knowledge. Without having any Java knowledge, we can prepare web applications by using JSP. Just if we have presentation skills, just if we have HTML tags awareness, that's sufficient. Directly, you can work with what their JSP technology. We can prepare web applications in a simplified manner with the JSP technology. This is what exactly the Sun Microsystems has given announcement about the JSP technology the moment when they were introduced that JSP technology. Then by the time that very good demand is going on for JSP. Servlets, JSP, JDBC is already existed. JDBC, servlets and JSP is no total we can prepare a big project. A project we are able to prepare. Initially, the project development is available with only JDBC servlets and JSPs. Later on, frameworks are available. Later on, some other technologies are coming there, but initially, these three things are only being existed here. Now, anyway, then here we don't require the comparison between Microsoft and non-Microsoft companies. We don't require the comparison between like what the .NET and Java. Here we need the comparison between servlets and JSPs. Here we need the comparison between what their servlets and JSPs. Now tell me what you understood by seeing the servlets and JSPs comparison. In this overall story, what conclusion here we are getting there? That very clear one point I am telling to you. If you want to prepare web applications by using servlets, the developer must have very good knowledge in Java. Web application developers must have very good knowledge in Java. Then only they can prepare web applications by using servlets. But if you want to prepare the same web application by using JSPs, then where developers are not required to know Java programming language. Without having Java knowledge, developer can prepare web applications by using JSP, just if you have presentation skills, just if you have HTML tags awareness. Guys, all of you get my point or not? Now this is what exactly the meaning of like what there JSP technology. That's the first difference here understood clearly. What is the very first point here we understand there? What we are getting clarity on this very first point, you know, now observe carefully. If you want to prepare web applications by using servlets, then web application developers must have very good knowledge on Java. Must have very good knowledge on Java. If you want to prepare web applications by using servlets, then web application developers must have very good knowledge on Java. This is mandatory. So Java knowledge is mandatory. If you don't have Java knowledge, it's not possible to prepare web applications with the servlets. All right, sir. Now the point here I'm telling there, if you want to prepare web applications by using JSPs, then web application developers are not required to have Java knowledge. Guys, answer my point, you know. Web application developers are not required to have what their Java knowledge. Without having Java knowledge, we can prepare web applications. Now tell me here with this particular point, observe carefully. One note I can give there. What is that note? No, what's the main intention of JSPs? No, main intention of JSP is what? The Java free web applications. Java code free web applications means that preparing web applications without having Java code as much as possible. Or maybe the main intention of JSPs is to reduce Java code as much as possible in web applications. This is the main purpose of like what their JSP. The main intention of JSP is to reduce Java code as much as possible in web applications. It wants to see Java free application. Without Java, we want to prepare that application. This is exactly the meaning of like what there. The first difference, very first difference between web applications and that means like servlets and JSPs. You know, this is point number one. Observe carefully. All right, sir. Then another point here. Observe carefully. In web applications, where servlets are suitable and where JSPs are suitable. In general, in web applications, where servlets are suitable, where JSPs are suitable. If you observe this, I'll give one high level point. Now try to understand it clearly. Now, listen, all of you know, in web applications, servlets are very much suitable at the location where requests are coming to the, or else maybe servlets are very much suitable. Servlets are very much suitable. Servlets are very much suitable to take requests and to handle requests, to take requests and to handle what their requests. Observe carefully, to take requests and to handle requests. All right, sir. But what about these JSPs actually? Where JSPs are suitable here? Observe carefully. In web applications, all of you observe carefully. In web applications, JSPs are very much suitable for generating dynamic response with a very good look and feel. Observe carefully, guys, what I'm telling there. In web applications, JSPs are very much suitable for generating responses with a very good look and feel. Very good look and feel. That means with the presentation part. To provide presentation in our web applications, there mainly we are going to use what there JSPs. One more extension point here I'm telling to you, observe carefully. By this we are able to get clarity on this. In web applications, servlets are mainly for request processing. That is execution of the code. Servlets are mainly for what the representing code and processing that code. Servlets are mainly for what their request processing. But whereas in web applications, JSPs are mainly for presentation. Mainly for what purpose? There no presentation. That means look and feel, preparing login pages, preparing registration pages, or displaying data from the database to the user in the form of a table with a very good, like what I'm telling there, look and feel. Answer my point here. JSPs are mainly for focusing on what their presentation part, but servlets are mainly focusing on what their request processing, how to handle the request, how to execute the business logic, so how to represent that business, that everything could be done with like what their servlets and JSPs in this way. Right, sir. This is one point. Next, another point, important point. Now try to understand it. No, I think almost all of you might be aware about MVC architecture, model view controller. MVC architecture you might be aware. Am I right or not? See this here. I'll give one diagram to you. Now this is like what I'm telling to you, client browser. Now this is a server mission, client mission and server mission. Now this is like what I'm telling to you, database. This is database. This is client and this is like what their server. Now in server side mission, server mission, there is an application. Inside this application here, what we are having there, now this is controller, this is view part, this is a model part. Controller, this is like what their view part, this is like what I'm telling their model part. Observe carefully. Then what is the flow of execution now? When we submit requests from client to the server, at a server side, who will take the responsibility of taking that request now? Controller will take the responsibility. Every request must go to the controller. Every request must go to what their controller. Now controller will take the request now. Controller will identify what business component is available at model respect to appropriate business component. For example, if it is like login application there, controller will take that request which is coming from login page The login page related request processing is available with a particular model component. So it able to execute that model component. Then it able to perform some database interaction. It able to get some results from database also. Then after that, what it able to do there, and it after executing this business logic, then immediately controller will identify a particular viewport. Then controller will forward that request to the viewport. Now viewport is able to get some details after executing business logic there. Some conclusions might be available. Say for example, it's a login success or login failure is decided here. Now this viewport is able to get either login success or login failure. Then it able to display the required response to the respective client. Then viewport is able to submit the required response to like what there to the respective client. Now this is like what I'm telling the request. Now here we are getting like what their response. Tell me guys, all of you know. Then what is the job of the controller here? Come on, what is the job of the controller here? No, controller is responsible for taking requests, and controller is responsible for processing that request, identifying business component and executing business component, and making availability of database interaction and performing some database operations. Then after that, identifying a particular viewport and submitting requests to like what there a particular viewport, where viewport will be executed, that viewport will generate directly response to the respective client. But if it require any data from the model component, then it able to get the data from what there model component, and it able to send some response back to like what there respective client. Got my point or not? Now this is a high level MVC architecture. This is high level what there MVC architecture. But as it is, all MVC frameworks are using or not using, that depends on their implementation. But basic awareness of like what their MVC architecture here we provided now. Guys, observe carefully. Then after that, here what is the next point here I'm telling there? After that, this is MVC. That's okay, fine. Now tell me, all of you now tell me, put more concentration here. Controller is responsible for what purpose there? Taking requests and handle the request. Am I right or not? Now tell me, between servlets and JSPs, no, which one is responsible for taking requests and process that request? No. Come on, which one is responsible for taking requests and process requests? No, between servlets and JSPs? No. Servlets are suitable for that work or not? Now tell me, in MVC, where servlets are suitable? Now tell me, in MVC, where servlets are suitable? Now tell me. Exactly. Here the point is like what I'm telling to you. Here, controller should be used as like what there a servlet. Controller should be what there a servlet. So a servlet should be used as what there a controller. Leave. Understand my point clearly. Now tell me, what is the view responsibility here? No. What is view responsibility here? No. Getting request from controller, getting some required data from the model component, and preparing some response and submitting that response to the client with very good look and feel or not. Understand my point here? No? So view is responsible for submitting some response to like what their respective client here. Now tell me here. Now tell me, between servlets and JSPs, no, which component is suitable for viewport? No, which component is suitable for? See, the JSP is mainly for what they're presenting the data, representing data, presentation purpose only. Here also we use for the sake of presentation purpose or not? We use for the sake of what their presentation purpose. So finally here we can conclude that. So as a viewport, we are going to use like what there. As a viewport, we can use like what there set of JSP pages. Set of what their JSP pages that we can use as what their viewport. It's not like single JSP, multiple JSP pages here we can use clearly. Now here we got very much clarity. What is that clarity here? Very much clear-cut information here we are getting there. What is that point here? In MVC based web applications, what I'm telling there, in MVC based web applications, observe carefully, we will use a servlet as a controller. We will use a servlet as controller. All right, sir. Observe carefully. In MVC based web applications, we will use a JSP, a set of JSP pages, as a viewport. As what their viewport. Answer my point here. As the viewport. So many examples are available, predefined examples with me. So many predefined examples are available. Tell me, can you tell me any example for servlet as a controller, and JSP pages as viewport. Any example for it? No. If you take for that, so many examples are available. I will take some examples to try to understand it. Example one, all of you observe carefully. Struts is a MVC based web framework. Struts previously is available, of course, is an outdated at present, not in utilization, but it's one of the framework. It has very good market previously, but at present it is not available. But example I'm telling there, Struts is a MVC based web framework. It uses action servlet. It uses what their action servlet as a controller. Action servlet as a controller. And a set of JSP pages as what their viewport. This is example one I'm telling to you. Struts is a best example where action servlet is used as what there as a controller, and a set of JSP pages as what their viewport. It is the best example. Next one is, apart from this, another one here, JSF is a MVC based web framework. JSF is what there MVC based web framework. It uses faces servlet as a controller and a set of JSP pages as a viewport. Understand, guys? Now this is a second example I'm telling to you. Third example or required example I'm telling you. Now try to understand it clearly. JSF is okay. Spring, a web MVC module, is a MVC based web framework. Spring web MVC module. Inside the Spring web module is available. Web MVC module is available. It is like what there MVC based web framework. Then what it able to use there? It uses dispatcher servlet as a controller and a set of JSP pages as a viewport. So like this, so many examples are available. Yes, sir, all of you get me point or not? Now try to recognize this. Now this is like what I'm telling to you. The diagrammatic representation here we provided about this particular one. That's okay. Now this is like what their fourth point here we understood that. Next one, fifth point here I'm telling to you the fifth difference. No, observe carefully. Right. If we perform, this is practical, I can show that, not immediately. Whenever I'm preparing applications with that, practically I'm able to show that. But understand the point here. Already I have a servlet. Servlet is what their Java code only, Java file only. I have a servlet, Java code. If I perform any modifications on this Java code, then immediately we have to perform recompilation of the code or not. Of course, if we are using IDE, IDE will take the responsibility of recompiling our code or not. So recompilation is required. If it is server-side program there, recompilation is required, and again reloading of that entire application to the server. These two things are required. Explicitly, we have to do that. If we are using IDE, IDE will do that. That's okay. That's a different case. But action must be performed or not. Whether we are doing that or IDE doing that, but finally we require that recompilation and reloading of that application to the server is required or not. That activity must be performed or not. But in the case of JSPs, no. If we perform any modifications on JSP pages, no, recompilation is not required. Reloading is not required. Why? Because JSP pages are auto-compiled and auto-loaded. JSP pages are what there? Auto-compiled and auto-loaded. Just to refresh the browser where we are getting response, that's sufficient. Automatically, we are able to get response from what there? JSPs directly. So this is another point here we have to understand. So the fifth point is what there? If we perform modifications on an existed servlet in a web application, then we must perform recompilation and reloading of the servlet in server software. Right, sir. Next one is what there after completion of this. The same point. If we perform modifications on an existing JSP page, then it is not required to perform recompilation and reloading of that application into the server. Why? Because JSP pages are auto compiled and auto loaded. JSP pages are like what? They're auto compiled and auto loaded. Right, sir. Not required to do that point explicitly. Right, sir. One more point, theoretical point here we have to understand. Directly, I'll give the point here and try to understand it now. If we prepare the total web application by using only servlets, no other technology, only servlets, then there is no difference between presentation logic and business logic. No, unable to separate the presentation logic and business logic. Kind of separation is not possible. Everything is Java code only, no separation like this. But if we prepare web application by using JSP pages now, then we can separate the presentation logic and business logic inside the JSP pages. In JSP pages, we are going to use HTML tags for presentation, and we are going to use JSP based tag for the sake of business. Depending on the tags, easily we can differentiate what is presentation logic and what is business logic. But in the case of servlets, no, everything is going on with Java code only, no separation. We are unable to separate presentation logic and business logic. Purely if we use servlets, this is a problem. Purely if we use JSPs, now this is an advantage here we can understand. So here the point is like what there. If we prepare web applications, by using only servlets, I'm telling there clearly, observe carefully, by using only servlets, no other technology was used there, just only servlets, then it is not possible, then it is very much difficult. To separate presentation logic and business logic. All right, sir. That is the same point here I'm telling to you. If we prepare web applications by using JSPs, then it is very simple. To separate presentation logic and what next one can know, business logic. That's it, guys. Now this is exactly the meaning of like what there, that overall differences between like what I'm telling you, differences between like what there, like servlets and JSPs. Here we can understand clearly. All right, sir. Now tell me, you only tell me here what's going to be happen here now. Observe carefully. What are the various differences are available? Now let's see these differences here between servlets and JSPs here. First one is, now tell me what difference here we identified there. If you want to prepare web applications by using only servlets, there we must have very good knowledge in Java. But if we want to use JSPs, no need to have any Java knowledge. Without having Java knowledge, we are able to prepare web applications. There's a point here we can understand. Next one is what there. Then one note I given, it will give more clarity about what their intention of JSPs. The main intention of JSPs is to reduce Java code as much as possible in web applications. Right, next one after that. In web applications, servers are very much suitable to take requests and to handle requests. In web applications, JSPs are very much suitable for generating dynamic responses with a very good look and feel. In web applications, servers are mainly for request processing. In web applications, JSPs are mainly for what their presentation purpose. Then with that, I give in one point here. In MVC based web applications, we will use servlets as controller. In MVC based web applications, we will use a set of JSP pages as what their viewport. All right, sir. Some examples are given there. What examples are given there? Struts is a MVC based web framework. It uses action servlet as a controller and a set of JSP pages as viewport. JSF is MVC based web framework. It uses faces servlet as controller and a set of JSP based viewports. Spring Web MVC module is a web MVC, is an MVC based web framework. It uses dispatcher server as controller and a set of JSP based as what their viewports. Right, sir. Then after that. Next one is like what there. Some example here I've given, some flow of execution here I've shown about this MVC. Now leave this one. If we perform modifications on an existing servlet in web application, then we must perform recompilation and reloading of the servlet in server software. Okay. If we perform modifications on an existing JSP, then it is not required to perform recompilation and reloading of that application to the server. Why? Because JSP bases are auto compiled and auto loaded. No need to do anything. Just refresh the browser is sufficient. Next one is, if we prepare web applications by using only servlets, then it is very much difficult to separate presentation logic and business logic. But if we prepare web applications by using JSPs, then it is very much simple to separate presentation logic and business logic. Right, so now finally, now these are the differences between servlets and JSPs here, what we are having clearly. Right, so totally this particular technology differences are completed now. Yes, sir. All of you get my pointer, and what we completed here now, technology differences are completed. Servlets and JSPs, the differences are completed clearly. Yes, sir. All of you get my pointer, and then after that, after completion of this, after understanding this technology differences there, then we will go for like what there, client server architecture. Why this is required? No, every web application is going to be prepared with what there, client server architecture. So first we have to understand how this client server architecture is available, what is a client and what is a server, how the communication is going to be existed, that everything we are going to understand inside this client server architecture. Okay, that's all guys, that's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining part, client server architecture. Within a few minutes I'll start the server guys. Now try to, that means I'll start Spring framework, try to understand it clearly. Right, that's okay, fine. Guys, Spring link is demo link only, that is available already in web applications, or maybe in the core Java document also by giving that. Try to check this, and very soon that core Java link is going to be expired, not to worry for it. Yeah, Jane, I will check the possibility, then I will talk with my trainers, then I'll let them to start the classes now. Okay, thank you. Yeah guys, then videos access were provided to everybody one by one. Just maybe it may take 1 or 2 days of time. Within few days, then we are able to get video support also. Why? Because already access was started to given for the members. No, within 2 days of time, if you are not getting access, no, then again just give intimation to me, then I'll follow up that. Or admin people are trying to give that video support. Okay. Yeah, class notes already link is provided there, right? Same link. This is a link, guys. Same link. Whatever the link we have used for JDBs, no, same link. Yeah, thank you, thank you. What's up? కొట్టండి పర్లేదు అవసరం లేదు రూట్ పాస్వర్డ్ రూట్ ఇవ్వండి